Americans, stand by.
77 WABC, WABC.
You're a lousy fink who writes letters to the management. You write letters to the management, you lousy fink.
Yeah, I like some more, too.
Yeah. I don't know. You have a real problem. You have a real problem. But since I did say it would be a gag call, I will gag myself and go ahead and continue.
You're a sick fellow. You need help.
No, you're the guy who's sick. You are a frustrated talk show host.
You're bent out of shape, pal.
You're a frustrated talk show host, you little two-bit creep.
Well, I'm not
The only thing that I can say good about you is you have a fine son. It's a good thing he doesn't take after you. Get off my phone, you jerk. All right, and with that, he hung up. He's finished. John, you're on WABC. Would you like to get at Grant?
Yeah, Grant, the only thing I got to say to you is I think it's about time you threw your toupee into the ring and ran for office.
The last time John called, he used the name Jerry.
You bald-headed...
He used the name Jerry, and he's got this fixation about toupees and all of that. It's sad. It really is.
Your hypocrisy is going to consume you, Bob.
I like Ken. You know, when he started out, he's got the right idea about gag. He started off by saying, I don't like you. And that's what gag is about. All right, we'll get back to more gag calls as time permits. Speaking of time, 8 minutes before 6. We're just about 8 minutes away from Sports Talk Time with Art Rush Jr. Right now, there's WABC Shadow Traffic Update.
Dave, hello. Dave, hello.
Yes, this is Dave. There was a Palestinian that called you, and he tried to explain to you the conditions. I'm a black, and I was born here. And you didn't give him a chance. You're talking about this is your country. You understand?
Do I understand what, Dave?
What I'm saying. Why did you didn't give him a chance to explain anything?
Really?
That's right.
How'd you know what he was talking about if I didn't?
Because I heard the whole thing, and I've been listening.
You heard the whole thing. In other words, you heard what he had to say, didn't you?
It's part of it, because you wouldn't let him talk.
Well, I find that difficult to believe that I wouldn't let him talk.
You did not let him talk.
I see. Now, I didn't let him talk to your satisfaction. That's what you mean. You would have preferred that I would have let him go on and on without challenging.
His speech, because it's the truth.
How do you know that he was saying the truth? If I didn't let him talk, how do you know what the hell he was saying?
Because I've seen both sides of it.
See, you can't have it both ways.
I've seen both sides.
What do you mean by you've seen both sides of what?
Both sides of the Palestinian issue.
Really? Well,
yes.
We have an expert here, ladies and gentlemen.
Not an expert, but somebody has a little bit of knowledge.
Really? Well, tell us, what is both sides? First give us the Israeli side and then give us the Palestinian side.
No, I'm not going to give you any side.
I'll tell you why, because you don't have it.
I have it.
Because you know what, Dave? You're a lowlife. You're an ignorant, prejudiced. You're an ignorant, prejudiced jerk.
You and the Jews.
Me and the Jews.
That's right.
What's the matter with the Jews, Dave?
You and the Jews.
What's the matter with them?
The same thing's the matter with you.
Okay, what's the matter with me?
You are prejudiced, racist.
Well, that's possible. You know, that's possible.
Yeah.
Maybe I am, Dave, because I wouldn't want you around me in any way, shape, or form.
That goes for me.
Not because of the way you talk, but not because you can't speak English properly, but because you're so full of hate and prejudice, and you are so full of hypocrisy.
Talking about it, this is your country. It's not your country.
Well, Dave, I wish it were really my country so I could kick you out, Dave. I could kick you out. You know what I'm going to do? I can't kick you out of the country.
Punch you in your nose.
I can't kick.
I'll come to the United States and punch you in your nose.
Really? Would you like to try?
Yes. I'll meet you down there.
Okay, Dave. How will I know you, Dave?
You won't know me.
I won't know you. Sneak attack, eh, Dave?
The Indians, when you came over here and robbed them.
I robbed the Indians.
Yes. You in Columbus.
Columbus?
Yes.
I see. You don't like Columbus.
No, I didn't say I didn't like Columbus.
Okay, but Columbus robbed the Indians. Is that right? Columbus robbed the Indians?
You say that.
No, you just said that.
Your forefather.
Hey, you know, this is going to sound like Amos and Andy any minute. I better hang up. Hello, Natalie.
Hello, Bob.
Yes.
I just want to tell you, I'm disappointed in you because it seems that when somebody calls and agrees with you, it doesn't matter if they sound like Donald Duck, which Frank did a few calls ago. But when somebody calls and disagrees with you, you find something wrong with their voices.
Probably some truth to that, Natalie.
Yeah. And also, I'm a Martin Luther King fan. And if you check your Bible, like Exodus 19 on, you'll find that Abraham did more than Martin Luther King ever could do, with God's permission, by the way.
Well, if you're a King fan, why are you pointing out that Abraham did much more?
The good things that he did.
The good things that Abraham did?
No, the good things that anybody did. But Martin Luther King did do a lot of good things.
What? Name some.
Well, he promoted a spirit of equality between people.
Did he really?
And he had a dream, and I share it.
Oh, I see. Well, we've all had dreams, only whenever I think of him, I have a nightmare.
Well, his dream was for brotherhood, and I'm sorry.
Oh, isn't that original? My God, he thought of brotherhood. Isn't that something? You know, you missed the main question here. You're like everybody else. You avoid the main question. Who deserves a day, a national day, year in and year out, as long as this republic shall last? Does he deserve that?
Hey, it's a tough job, but somebody has to do it.
Does he deserve that?
Somebody has to do it.
No, you're not answering, Natalie. You're just being a cute little twerp. Get off my phone. You sound like a dummy. Would you hang up, please?
Bob, you look at George Washington.
Would you please, Natalie, would you please hang up?
Do anything great either.
Would you please hang up so I can clear the line and take a call from a real person?
Finger, you hang up.
I beg your pardon?
You've got a finger, you hang up.
Oh. I never thought of that.
Now, more of the Bob Grant Show.
And it's 6 minutes past 5. Time to say hello to, get a load of this name, Shantae. Hello, Shantae.
Yeah, Bob?
Shantae?
My mother, she sits here and she listens to you and she just laughs and she said that she wouldn't even speak to you because she thinks that you're a child.
She thinks I'm what?
That you're a child.
I don't understand that word.
She thinks that you should be put in a child's place, so she let me talk to you. And I'm only 10 years old, and I think that you are perfectly nuts. I mean, how could you talk about Martin Luther King like that?
Well, like what?
That,
When you say like that, what do you mean, like that? What, is he above discussion? Is he above criticism? Is there no discussion open?
Martin Luther King was a great man. I don't know which your parents taught you, but Martin Luther King was a great man.
I'm not telling you not to believe he was a great man. If that makes you feel better, go ahead and believe it. I haven't told you not to believe that he was a great man, have I? But I have my own opinion, and my opinion is not that he was a great man. My opinion is that he was a two-bit fraud jerk.
I think that your answer was too big for a joke, too.
I can't understand you. Take whatever you have in your mouth. Will you take it out of your mouth, please?
What?
What is it you have in your mouth? Is it molasses? Elmer's glue? What is it you have in your mouth? Why can't you talk plain?
This is the way I talk. If you don't like, that's too bad.
Well, you want to know something? I don't like it, and I'm going to do something that's going to make me feel good. I'm going to hang up on you. She hung up before. She beat me. She hung up first. Telephone's at 40 paces. Did you ever hear of Lowell Weicker?
Yeah.
Can you get any more liberal than he is?
Yeah, but how come he got so high? I mean,
Can you get more liberal than Lowell Weicker?
but he was appointed to the club by a Republican president.
Talking about Lowell Weicker, senator from Connecticut.
I know him.
Yeah. By the way, Henry, you're not so much a cajon as you are totally dumb. You are real dumbbellski booze. I want you to get off my phone. Henry, would you do me a favor sometime when I'm making a personal appearance, please introduce yourself. I want to punch your dumb nose down your even dumber throat. Now get off my phone! Would you hang up? I can't stand you. On WABC, he used language we had to cut. You know what we'll all do for Friday? We had to cut. Because he showed his true colors. Meanwhile, in the background, you could hear his wife saying, "Hang up, Henry, you're making a fool of yourself." Well, at least his wife has got some brains. But how dumb. I can't. I tell you, I can't.
Mr. Grant, there's a question I want to ask you that's been burning in my stomach. I can't get the better.
Burning like agita. Go ahead.
It's a question in regard to the hairpiece. You know what I'm saying?
All this build-up. See, all this build-up, this obsession. Hey, look, jerk. Students, listen to this. I don't wear a hairpiece. If I did, it would be no big deal. There's nothing. It's not a crime. It's not a sin to wear a hairpiece. Fortunately, I don't need one. If I were bald, I would wear one because I think a bald head looks dumb. A bald head looks about as dumb as you are. Now get off my phone and get over the obsession, you jerk. I don't understand these guys. What is the big obsession with it? Oh, dear, oh me.
Well, and you do this a lot. You badmouth people when they get on.
All right, who did I badmouth, had on, and then I didn't punch in the mouth? Besides Eddie Koch. Yeah, hey, listen, let me suggest something to you, Henry. Let me suggest something to you. Let me suggest something. May I suggest something, Henry?
Then I'll suggest something. Go ahead.
All right. I don't think you ought to listen to Bob Grant Show anymore. I think it's bad for your mental health, which obviously wasn't very good to begin with. I really don't think you ought to listen anymore. Because if I felt the same way you did, if I had the same warped, perverted view of things as you do, I wouldn't listen to this program. Henry, I'll tell you something. You're a mental midget. You're a jerk. You're a creep.
You're a wuss.
You're a creep. And Henry, you are one of the few guys I really would like to meet someday. Face to face.
Believe me. All right, my suggestion.
Because you're a real two-bit gavone. I mean a real two-bit gavone.
You had Ted Kennedy on the show. You'd be nice to try to him. You call him every name in the book.
Well, you'll never find out because Ted Kennedy left word that he will never come on this program.
And if he did, you'd be nice to try him.
I doubt it.
I don't. And
well, listen. I'll tell you this, Henry. I'll tell you this, Henry. If you want to keep listening, there's no way I can stop.
I don't think I'm done.
But I'll tell you one thing. I don't have to keep you on the line anymore. As a matter of fact, you're getting boring.
You're soft when you get face-to-face with people that you're bad now.
Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
You said it. You certainly are. Hello, Jay.
Hi, Bob.
Yes.
I
told Ed Koch, I said, watch, there are going to be some BBs out there that are not going to forgive me because I didn't punch you in the mouth. He shrugged his shoulders and he said two words. The second was the contraction for the word them. It's
I don't know. I missed a good part of that interview. But I guess when you have the mayor on, you have to show a little respect for the office, regardless of personal feelings. That isn't what I called about anyway.
WABC. I'm saying hello to Al here on the New York line. Yes, Al.
Bob Grant, how's it going?
Yes, Al. What's on your mind?
Bob, you asked a question the other day to a gentleman. You said, why was the captain of Flight 7 off course? Remember that? A couple days ago?
Well, this was in a discussion concerning the comparison between Flight 007 back in September of 1983 and, of course, Flight 655, the Sunday of this week, yes.
In the Gulf recently. I think, to be honest with you, if we have an open mind about this, I read all the books on the subject. I believe that the captain of that Flight 7, Captain Chun, he knew exactly where he was, and he meant to be there, believe it or not. And I think the United States, to be honest with you, owes an apology to the Soviet Union for the way we stuck their face in the dirt over Flight 7. Because, to be honest with you, both planes were unarmed.
I'm glad you're being honest with me, in addition to being stupid, dumb, ignorant, and crazy.
No, that's not true. Have you read?
It's not true?
Have you read any of the books?
What book did you read, Tony, to make you so brilliant on this matter?
Well, I'll tell you, I read the books, and I took...
What book?
Well, Shoot Down by Johnson, and...
Oh, that's a phony book. Come on, cut it out.
Phony?
Cut it out.
Oh, come on. Did you read KL7 by Pearson?
That's even phonier than Johnson's book.
Listen.
You know what? These are books for hysterical, ignorant people with low IQs like you.
No, they're not.
Who would believe...
Let me tell you something.
Who would believe that the moon is made of green cheese.
No, not...
No.
Why did he leave 1,800 pounds of freight on the ground in Anchorage? Why were the radar tapes scratched that night? Why were they erased? Why did he tell his wife he was going on a quote, dangerous...
Well, this guy does this. I tell you, Johnson and Pearson both do what people do anytime there's some kind of a story that may have a few murky elements. What they do is they ask a lot of questions that have already been answered, but they ask them all over again, and the uninformed, the idiots like you, read the book, but that's all right. It keeps you from hurting anybody, including yourself. Alex, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hi.
Can you imagine that, jerk? We owe the Soviet Union an apology for protesting the shooting down of Flight 007.
I can't believe him.
Well, that's why I say this is Meshuggahville.
He has some nerve. You know, all his views are totally wrong. I dispute everything. Unbelievable what he said.
Well, what would you like to say?
Oh, well, from before, when you were talking about the homosexuals, I would like to stress my opinion from a homosexual teen in the 80s. The discrimination that we face, just preposterous. And you can't even go anywhere without people, harassing you. It's just crazy. And
What do you mean by harass? Wait a minute, stop it. Are you a homosexual?
Am I?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what do you mean, wherever you go, they harass you? What happens?
I mean, just because we look...
Well, what do you do? I mean, I don't understand.
Differently.
Huh?
Comments like, you fag.
You're putting it on. You're putting it on so that Phil will have to use the cut switch, which Phil did because Roy intimidated him. It worked, Roy. You intimidated him. Greg, you're on WABC. Hello. Are you there, Greg? Greg. Greg's not there. I love it when... by the way, I think that last caller was a put-on. I don't think that last caller was a homosexual. The language that was cut indicated. Well, see, sometimes it's too bad that you've become so traumatized that you have to cut even words that are called. You know, I got to get out of here. I really do, because now we've come to the point I can understand them holding me responsible for what I say. But now I got to be held responsible for what a caller says? Why do I have to sit here now and hear complaints about what's on from 12 until 2? Why?
Why? Because we got in there.
What did you do before Lynn Samuels came on? What did you do then?
Well, I'm listening to the radio all the time.
What were you listening to before Lynn Samuels came on?
Anybody.
Now you're listening to her.
Yes.
Good for you. She's on this station.
Okay, thank you very much.
Not at all. I don't understand these people. What am I supposed to do? Fire her? You're fired, Lynn. There. Steve, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hello, Bob. I want to ask you a question about Jesse Jackson. And maybe you can help me out. Now, I'm not a supporter of Jesse Jackson. I am anti-Jesse Jackson.
Who are these people you're having this movable debate with? Apparently, you're on a debating lecture tour or something of that kind, and apparently you have this ongoing debate. Who are these people? You have the ongoing
people at work.
I see. You go to work and argue about Jackson each and every day?
When the election comes up and people saying, well, did you vote, or who did...
Well, is he going to be the candidate? I didn't know he was going to be the candidate.
No, that was in the primary.
I see. So you're getting ready for November when people say, did you vote? Did you know that the ballot is secret? Did you know when we go into the voting booth, we're supposed to be all alone, and it's a violation if somebody opens the curtain? It's a secret ballot. Did you know that?
I understand that, but...
So then what the hell are you telling everybody how you voted for? Why is it anybody's business?
But it's not a question of who I'm voting for. It's a question of who I believe in and who I don't believe in and why I don't.
Well, that's up to you. That's up to you, isn't it? I see. So you go to the city, and instead of doing whatever it is you're paid for, you sit around and you argue politics.
No, during lunch hour.
Now, who are these Jackson supporters? Are they whites? Are they black? Are they rainbow color? What are they?
Predominantly black.
They're predominantly black. Well, what in the world do you expect them to do? Do you expect them not to be for Jackson?
No, but I would expect that they would respect my opinion.
Well, why do you even bother giving your opinion? You're not there to give your political opinion. Is that what the city's paying for you? Paying you for, to go there and have debates with co-workers?
No, but on lunch hour, you're free to speak after work.
And that's what you want to do, lunch hour, is argue politics?
I want to do, but...
Is there any point with any of these individuals in arguing with them? Are you going to convince them of anything?
Well,
they don't care what Jackson is like. The only thing they care about is what's obvious, and that is he's black.
Well, I know that.
And that's enough for them.
Well, it's unfortunate.
Are you going to try to talk them into thinking he's not?
Well, I do try to bring out some of the things that he stands for, such as embracing Castro.
Do they care? Have you ever argued with any of these people where you said, you know, he embraces Castro, he is pro-communist, and they say, ooh, I'm not for him anymore? Have you ever gotten that?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, thank you for the call. Hello, Ben. You're on WABC with Bob Grant.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. I wanted to comment on what your guest was saying earlier about homosexuals. I disagree that it has anything to do with genetics. I think that it has to do with the moral training that most people are given. People are taught by the Catholic Church or by, the so-called, different religions that sex is evil. And I think that the reason that they become homosexuals is so that they can fantasize. If you ever look at a homosexual couple, there's always one that pretends that they're the female and the other pretends that they're the male.
Really?
There's
always one who pretends. What do they do? Have signs around the neck? Me, Peggy. Him, John?
Something.
I mean, I hear such dumbness. This is what's getting me down. I have to sit here between 2 and 6 and hear one ignorant statement after another. It's incredible. That'll give me a bonus for hazardous duty. This is hazardous to my health, hearing all you dumbos. That last guy who's arguing on the job, trying to talk people. Oh, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. It's obvious one's the male and one's the female. How do you know?
Have you never heard of a butch dyke, or have you never...
You're talking about lesbians now.
Lesbians?
You're talking about lesbians now.
And the males do the same thing?
The males do the same thing. So therefore, it makes it, because of Roman Catholic strictures against sex, they turn to homosexuality because they're so screwed up.
Because they don't want to admit that they want sex, and this is the way that they do it.
And by becoming homosexuals, they no longer want sex.
By becoming homosexuals, they think, well, they aren't wanting it. If you look at...
They're not wanting it? And yet they're having it with their male partner, which makes it okay. It's okay, Father Kelly. He was a boy.
That's right.
Get off my phone, you sick creep, and don't call me anymore!
The Best of Bob Grant returns after these messages from WABC.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we get a lot of mail, and that pleases me because it tells me that people are interested enough to do two things. Number one, listen, and number two, tell me their reactions to what they hear. I like to share the mail. Here's one. I thought I'd like to get your reaction out of this. Dear Mr. Grant, would you like to know when you had the most boring program? January 16th, 1989. Abortion. To begin with, you can talk till you are blue in the face, call it murder, or call it whatever you like. I am a woman, and you and others of your ilk, whether men or women, are not going to tell me what to do. They can chain themselves, they can jump off roofs, they can call it murder of another human being. The fact remains, I will do what I think is best for me. That sums it up. Roberta Smith of Manhattan. What strikes me as interesting about this is Roberta contemplating getting pregnant? Does Roberta get pregnant so easily, so nonchalantly that she wants to know that anytime she wants an abortion, she can snap her finger and get one? Or is Roberta Smith some old bag who went through the menopause a long, long time ago? Or is Roberta Smith so undesirable that no man would... be in any position to even remotely cause her pregnancy. But overriding all those other issues is no one is going to force Roberta Smith, if she doesn't want to go full term. Roberta Smith, if you are really out there, you're a jerk. And if the program was so boring, why'd you stay tuned? I'll tell you why. Because you're a phony, a fake, a fraud, a sham, a liar, and a AAA sickola. Dennis, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
How do you do? Before, at the beginning of your program, right, I guess after the Yankee game, You were speaking about a woman who needed surgery at New York Medical Center, I believe, or something like that?
You know, New York University Medical Center. Yeah.
Right. And I believe the inference or the tone in your voice was that the fact is that she could not get her bed because there were an overabundance of AIDS patients. Now, the tone in your voice kind of led me to believe that you, wished these people would kind of go off and die in a corner.
How does one convey that?
May I say something?
May I say something? How does one convey that with a tone of voice? I'll tell you how one conveys that with a tone of voice. If the person listening has a warped, active, sick imagination.
Yes.
I answered my own question. Next.
Nazi.
Nazi. Because I'm sick and tired of being raped by these people. That makes me a Nazi. By the way, he hung up on me. I didn't hang up on him. I tell you, I swear by all that's holy, when I come on after a baseball game, there's just something that makes my skin crawl. I don't know what it is.
Kevin, you're on WABC. Hello.
Hi, Bob. I just got a look at Lars Eric Nelson's column in the news.
Please, please, I tell you, this guy's turned out to be one of the biggest scumbag writers in the country.
I can't believe it. It's one thing being distorting the truth and, in a cause of liberty.
No, he's absolutely vicious.
But this is unbelievable. The quote that the original founders of the Constitution had never had anything like victims' rights in mind is unbelievable to even make a statement like that.
No, he's vicious. He's absolutely vicious.
Our Constitution certainly wasn't founded on criminals' rights, I didn't think.
I'm always suspicious of guys that have to have three names like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What is his first name? Is it Lars? Is it Lars Eric? What is his first name anyway? How come he's got to have a hyphenated name, huh? How come? Lars... Eric Nelson. What, they couldn't make up his mind? What, do you have two heads at birth? They called one head Lars and the other head Eric, and then they cut Eric or Lars off? What is that?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I hope, people who can read that will, just see the guy for what he is, and that's just unbelievable that people...
Yeah, and he's got a dumb beard, too. I don't know what the heck a guy wants a beard. But why would a guy want a beard? Somebody tell me why a guy grows a beard. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. The only guy who looks good in a beard is John Manelli. He looks good to me. He's a nice guy. Are you sure he's a program... He's such a nice guy. I can't believe he's a program director. Chad, hello.
Hi, Bob. I want to make an observation. If someone's made it before, forgive me. But there's a lot of airtime being given recently to the other allies sharing the military debt, such as Germany and Japan. And I think they're missing a really valid point, and that is in the Second World War, you had the Mitsubishi Zeros that were flying rings around our planes, and the German Messerschmitts. And if you look at what was announced this morning, I believe it was that we're thinking of selling 40 F-17s to Kuwait for a $640 million price tag. I think if we allow the Germans and the Japanese to build military equipment, it would again probably far outclass our own equipment just as their cars do, and cause a serious and dramatic economic problem with our gross national product. So I don't think it's particularly a good political platform for Trump or anybody to jump on.
They were not F-17s, they were F-16s, just for the record. Also, just for the record, the Messerschmitts were pretty good, but our P-38s, virtually every plane that we put in the sky were better. Don't ever think because we haven't been building good automobiles these past 20, 30 years, don't think for 1 minute we put out a bad product in World War II. We put out the best products of all. Just go pick up a history book and read it, for heaven's sake.
I agree with you, Bob. I think the products...
Well, if you agree with me, why did you make the statement you made before?
Because this is not the 40s. Times have changed. We're a fast food culture now. We're not into quality anymore.
But I don't object to what you're saying about what's now. I object to the fact that you were saying how great the Messerschmitt was and implying that it was better than our planes. It wasn't better than our planes. And the Japanese Zero was good. But The Tomcat was better. So there.
Okay, Bob.
Thank you.
What do you think about what I said, though, in relation
No, I think
to
it's stupid. I think it's dumb. I think it's ridiculous.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that you want us to abdicate our position here, and I don't think we should abdicate our position. And the Japanese Constitution proscribes their doing what you suggest.
Interesting. Thank you.
I gotta get out of here. I can't take somebody with a... Oh, never mind. Bill, are you there?
Yesterday, a man called you and told you that the main problem for drugs and crime were the fact that the judges and the courts were letting people go, or even when they found them guilty, giving them very light sentences. Okay? The man didn't say that was the only problem. He says that was the main problem. I happen to agree with him. Now, okay, I mean, I feel the drug problem and crime should be attacked from all aspects, okay, guarding the borders, but you totally, like, shook him off, and I don't know if it was just one of your cases of playing the devil's advocate, okay, but you sort of said, no, the real problem is Americans have a great desire to use drugs, which is true, but that's one problem. You sort of, like, completely shook it off, like that's not important. I mean, when you say that the country is coming to an end by the year 2000, for me to hear Bob Grant criticize this guy for saying that they're not giving out harsh enough sentences, and you like really criticizing the guy. I mean, I have to tell you that because of your attitude that you took with the guy, I feel the country is by in 2 years we're going to be at the end.
Well, you think I dismissed him because I didn't accept his premise? No, I know all too well that his premise is correct. There are revolving doors all around, and these guys are not locked up, and they are not given the harsh sentences that they should be given, in some cases even the death penalty. I did not dismiss that. I did not disagree with that.
You did it.
But I still believe that no matter how many individuals are arrested and given harsh sentences, that there will be others to take their place until we find out what it is within us, what it is that makes us want to go to any length to get that drug.
I strongly disagree with you. I mean, in Indonesia, I mean, I'm not saying that we should execute somebody who's selling marijuana or using it, okay? But there is, you could almost say, no drug problem in Indonesia, okay? I
think you mean Malaysia, where Malaysia, where the death penalty is meted out, and not too long ago, an American did get the death penalty.
Solve the problem?
I don't.
I've spoken to drug dealers who say, young drug dealers, 16, 17, who have told me that after their third conviction, okay, they'll sort of play it cool, as they say. Well, maybe not selling that because they know for the first 3 convictions nothing happens to them.
Bill, I think you've read in a lot of what I didn't mean to imply in my answer to that gentleman who you called today. What, did he say something? He did? You mean all of that just for him to say the inevitable 4-letter word followed by second person singular? In other words, he said, bleep you. And that word bleep is a ubiquitous word. Ray, on WABC, because you had the good sense to call the Bob Grant Show. Hello.
Thank you, Bob. May I ask, have you interviewed Leo Gamora, the author of...
Yes, we talked to him on the telephone before any twerp in this town talked to him.
No, I was reading an article about...
Because we are ahead of the game here. With the imitators, the pretenders, the would-be clones, we are ahead of the game. Who do we have here? Elan? Ellen? Who do we have here?
Yeah, this is Elon.
Okay.
Are you there, Bob?
I'm listening.
I am a street performer in New York City. I'm the guy that was arrested earlier this week and put in jail.
Good.
Street performing. Yeah, I am. That's me.
Good. I'm glad they arrested you and put you in jail. I'm sorry they let you out.
Well, why are you glad that they arrested me?
Because you're breaking the law, that's why.
I'm breaking the law. I have every constitutional right to do what I am doing.
Oh, well, then.
Rally and watch my act. And the performers and artists of New York City have the right...
You see, you're an arrogant jerk. That's what you are.
And you're not willing to hear the truth. The truth is that the court dismissed my arrest as being unconstitutional and thus a false arrest. This is the third time this has happened and deemed a false arrest.
I see. Why don't you get a job? Why don't you go to work for a living?
I do work for a living.
Well, then why don't you leave? Why don't you leave the people on the sidewalks alone?
People like you are the people that are shutting down theater in New York and people that are harassing street performers without...
How do you equate? He used the inevitable four-letter... Yeah, I know it's Pizzariello time. He used the inevitable four-letter word, ladies and gentlemen. This is a street performer. That's right. That's where he belongs, in the street. Hey, Elan, you little creep with a filthy mouth. How dare you equate what you do with what goes on in theaters on Broadway, or off-Broadway for that matter? How dare he?
Barbara. Hello, Barbara.
Hello. The last gentleman that called, you referred to him as Father. Was he a priest?
Yes, Father Louis Gigante, yes.
I don't think he has very much love in his heart to pick on... I mean, I don't like Lynn Samuels either, but to put down someone because of her voice, I think is very, very unpriest-like and very, very unloving.
Well, do you want him to be a phony and say she sounds just peachy keen to him?
No, I don't think he should have said that, but I don't think he should make fun of someone because of their voice.
I don't think he made fun of her. I think I think he described the fact that her voice is very irritating to him.
Yeah, but I mean, there are things in life we must accept as human beings.
Now, you don't have to accept somebody on the radio. You don't have to accept me. You can protest.
Let's not get defensive. Just let me finish.
No, I'm not being defensive. I am just. What I'm doing is. And
you hang up on.
What I'm doing is reacting to you because I think you're coming down hard on the priest for no good reason.
Well, I think a priest should have more love in his heart. I mean.
Well, he loves Lynn. He just doesn't want to hear her voice on WABC.
Well, you're being obnoxious. See,
I'm being obnoxious.
That's why when you call now...
I'm being obnoxious? Barbara, I'm being obnoxious?
So damn obnoxious. And yes, I am hanging up.
Made my day. It made my day. I was almost thinking this was getting to be a boring show until Barbara called. Hello, Joan. Dan, you're on WABC. Yes, who do we have here on the line? Look, what I want you folks to do... I tell you what, maybe the best thing to do is to write to me. Just put NMT, no more tolls. NMT, no more tolls. Bob Grant, WABC Radio, 2 Penn Plaza, New York, 10121. If I get a big bag of mail, I'll go down there and dump it on Pat Schuber's desk. We can get rid of these doggone tolls. And if I have to lead the way, if I have to fill the vacuum created by those pusillanimous pipsqueaks in Trenton, damn it, I will.
The Best of Bob Grant returns after these messages from WABC.
Joe Clark, I have to ask you what the heck happened out there at your school while you were away that showed that performance. And, Joe, I'm no prude, but from the clips I saw of it, even I was shocked.
Well, I would state emphatically and categorically, Bob, being a very conservative person myself, I found that inappropriate. I was in California. One personal day I took off to do some personal things in California. I came back and I understood that things had gone a little askew, that in fact this was Black History Month, so I said, well, here are some young blacks who want to come in, who are very formidable in the acting industry. They wanted to come in and do some positive things, I thought, for black youth and Hispanic youth. Well, I let them come in. And lo and behold, and might I state parenthetically, that this variety show had been put on several times prior to this particular event. So there was no reason for me to be suspect. Lo and behold, when I came back, one of the 10 acts consisted of something that I thought
definitely inappropriate for a high school. And as I began to analyze the situation very, very carefully, I realized that I had been sabotaged by a bunch of surreptitious, pusillanimous creeps. And it made my... I've been listening to you too much, Bob. It made my heart cringe. And the thing that angered me most of all, Bob, was that this was done to me by another black. Another black who had the unmitigated gall to try to ride to stardom and fame on my coattails by doing such an outlandish thing. And within hours, Bob, and to your distinguished audience, within hours, this individual, this Poltron, this lemming, this creep had given the tape to every national TV station in this nation.
So that's how we all saw it, virtually as soon as the show was concluded.
Concluded, took the tape, went and did this in the most unsavory manner ever imaginable. And what I told the kids, the young students, and tried to tell the nation, that so very often black people are always lambasting whites for being the nemesis and the enemy, and I saw something salient right there. We're our own worst enemies, destroying, pulling one another down like a bunch of damn crabs in a barrel. And that is the thing, probably, more than anything, that made me actually live it. I must admit, after looking at some clips, that I've seen worse on the beach and worse walking up and down the street. So that really, I'm not any puritanical demagogue. It was inappropriate.
Principal Joe Clark of Eastside High School, Patterson, New Jersey. And you don't need me to tell you what he said. He says it so well, speaking for himself.
I'm not going to announce the date, but I got a big shock for some people out there. And around here, too, because one day I will say, ladies and gentlemen, that slams the lid on things for today and forever. Gonna happen.
Incidentally,
life is too short to come sitting in this studio here like this and put up with all this.
Take care and be well.